This is the first of hopefully many. We had a fantastic roundtable session with our product managers. Andy Lambert is one of our fantastic product managers here based in the UK. And myself and Andy thought it would be a fantastic idea just to bring the community together, bring the business community together, share regular features, share the updates, keep you guys informed of what's new and what's exciting with Adobe Express. So let's go for it, Andy. On to the next slide. Quick agenda, which we'll whiz through. We'll both do some little intros in a minute as to who we are. We'll look at Adobe Express, the new features. We'll kind of cover off some best practices. So things that come up when I'm talking to my customers, what are the best practices that we should be looking at? And then hopefully we'll have time for some Q&A as well. So my name is Celeste. I'm a Senior Strategic Development Manager here at Adobe. I've been with Adobe for 5 years. I've been working across Creative Cloud as a solution consultant and recently moved into the strategic development team, which is really working on helping our customers adopt and embed our new and emerging technologies, so Adobe Express and Adobe Firefly. I'll hand over to Andy.
Thanks, Celeste. Morning, everyone. I'm Andy. I'm one of the product managers, as Celeste already mentioned. My background is mostly from startups, interestingly. So I co-founded a social media technology business about 8 years ago and grew it to become one of the fastest growing in the space, and was acquired by Adobe 3 years ago. So my specialist subject is usually social media and marketing. So, but anything to do with Express, I'm all ears. This is a fantastic community on this session today that we'd love to learn from. So yes, we'll be sharing lots of features and updates as Express has grown at an incredible rate that we'll talk about in a second. But if there's anything that we can do to improve the experience, this is a perfect opportunity to ask those questions and put in those requests, because yeah, we are all ears listening to you. So with that, for those of you that might be more uninitiated to Express, I'll keep this very brief anyway, because most of you on this call already have a pretty good grasp of Express already. The idea for Adobe Express is to play two roles ultimately. One, to be the content creation platform for the masses, designed to be incredibly easy to use, and it's designed in the way that we describe it to be the best of Adobe for everyone, allowing anyone to create anything. So that's point one. And the second point, which is very pertinent to the community that we have on today, which is about content velocity and the downstream success, allowing you to put the design process on rails to really systemize the process around design and ultimately take some form of outcome to that design, whether it's exporting to Adobe Experience Manager to reuse in other ways, whether it's publishing to social, etc. Ultimately being that kind of end-to-end glue of the process. Of course, that stitches together multiple different teams and use cases. So Celeste, do you want to cover this one?
I'm going to just turn my camera off, guys, because my internet is popping in and popping out. So hopefully that will help bandwidth this end. But I work with a number of people from a number of different businesses. And I did actually add a few more to this slide in a previous life. But we're not just talking to sales, marketing, HR, studio and creators. We're actually talking to people in social media teams, people who are creating PR content, people who are creating learning and development content, people who are creating content for talent acquisition and so forth. So it's really such a broad brush application that we're finding everyone really in most kind of teams across all of the organizations we work with have a reason to communicate, right? And when they're communicating, it's easy for people who don't use the Creative Suite, the full kind of C Pro tools, to use Adobe Express. So do give it a go if you haven't already had a chance to log in and get familiar.
Perfect. Thank you, Celeste. Right then, let's get on to the new features. We're going to show them live, but there's quite a lot coming your way. This session is recorded and we'll send this recording out to everyone. So just in case you need to dive out to something more important to attend to in your day, we will share this recording out with you. So it should be all good. But just to give you a bit of an idea, we've been very busy. There's been a huge amount that we've shipped of late. And of course, a big feature drop happened for Max last week. And yeah, who on this call got a chance to tune in to Max? Put it in the comments. Love to hear your take on what you saw at Adobe Max. But let's go through these one by one, and we've kind of broken this down into 3 core areas. Firstly, I'm going to cover some ease of use improvements, and we'll continue to iterate here, and this is where your feedback is so useful to help us continue to improve the speed and ease by which you can use Express. The second piece that Celeste is going to cover, which is going into more content creation opportunities and more creative opportunities that Express now allows. And then I'm going to talk a bit more about some document creation, so how we're improving PDF management, how we're improving also presentation creation. All right, with that, that's enough waffle from me. Let's get into the goodness and let's start kind of showing this live. So let me just jump into Adobe Express. So here we are in the design, and the first thing I want to show you is some improved educational guidance, of which you can access just through this light bulb icon in the top right. So here you have embedded how-tos and discover content. I think this is particularly important given how quickly Adobe Express is evolving, and as Celeste said, we'll continue to do more of these sessions as well, as if you find them useful, so we'd love to hear your feedback on this session, by the way. But we'll be continuing to add more Learn content here, which is a real good place to maybe orientate some of your teams that you work with to help them understand and learn Express quickly. Second piece that we've landed here is, you'll have seen this already, which is the contextual recommendations. I think, just to be honest, we've probably got some improvements to make here, because some have already said that they get in the way a little bit, so interested to hear your feedback here. But what the idea is here, these contextual recommendations are here to give you some suggestions around what actions you could take really quickly, rather than always clicking in the left-hand menu. So you've got some quick actions here. Also, as we're talking about kind of those quick actions and improved speed of and ease of use, if you right-click on anything, you'll have the ability now to add a comment to anything. So if you're building designs and working with others, you've now got the ability to tag those comments and comment specifically on the area that you want to add that note to. In addition, for those of you that use Google Drive, if that's part of your workflow, we've improved Google Drive support. So what you'll now see, yes, Google Drive is an add-on, and you'll see all of the add-ons surfaced here. We've spent a lot of time improving the visibility of add-ons as well, so you'll see them all both in editor and on the home experience. But we're starting to make add-ons even more natively baked into the experience. So if you've added a certain add-on, so like Google Drive in this instance, when we're pressing download, or sorry, if I press share rather, we'll now have the opportunity to share that to Google Drive or OneDrive or whatever add-ons we've enabled to really start baking in that experience to make it much more of a seamless experience working between those add-ons that you've enabled. Specifically, what I want to call out here is the improved Google Drive support. All right then, so I'm just going to jump onto the home screen now, and we've improved some of the template recommendations when you're starting from your own content. So imagine that we're starting with a photo that we've got here. So let me just go to my downloads. I'm going to upload this photo from Adobe Stock. We've increased the fidelity with which that it's going to generate some templates for you. So as you can see, it's analyzing the image, what's contained within the image, and going to start. Don't you love a live demo? Let me try that again. It's always brilliant. Right then, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to start from my own content, and I'm going to bring this one in. This worked really well 5 minutes ago, so let's see. Let's give it another go before I move on. There you go. Right, cool. So what we're doing here, and thank the Lord it's actually worked a second time around, obviously some improvements to make here. As you can see, this is beta. Now, here what this is doing is looking at what's contained within the image and making some template suggestions relevant to it. So here we've also got an ability to filter by terms as well. So depending on what the objective is here, whether this is like, introducing a new summer drinks menu, for example, we can now refine it by that. So this allows us just to get some better template suggestions, because finding the right template is sometimes quite challenging. And of course, many of you will have brand templates already set, but this gives us some abilities to filter this out, to kind of explore some other creative routes. And of course, we could look at orientation as well. So not only can we filter by the terms, and these are the terms that have been determined by the machine learning model that's analyzed this image, but we could also look at the orientation as well. So there you go. There's some improved ways that we can start suggesting templates based on an image you've uploaded, image or video, it's suffice to say. Then linked to this, we've also made some improvements to text to template. So if we go to generate with AI, you'll already be familiar with the generate template capability. So now we've got some improved fidelity here. Let's just say that actually I want to create an Instagram square post and promotional post for our summer drinks range. I don't know why I'm talking about summer drinks. Maybe clearly I am missing some already. So there we go, we'll do that. We can also upload an image as well straight off the bat to make this generated template a little bit better. So in the same way that, or the same use case predominantly, that we looked at uploading our image and looked at different templates that we had suggested, here in using the generate template capability, we're using a bit of a prompt here to start getting a bit more fidelity in our results, and also now have the ability to suggest the use case we want to use it for, so an Instagram post in this example, and also upload an image. So now we've got some other examples and we start to see some different variations. Again, this just gives us an opportunity to give us some more creative routes that we might want to explore with templates. But of course, notwithstanding that, you likely have some set brand templates that you already have locked down, which is totally fine. But of course, suffice to say, you can change and remix all of these template elements to then bring them on brand. But hopefully this gives you a bit more opportunities to explore what your image could be embedded in images, both from uploading from scratch and using the generative AI capabilities to create those templates for you. All right, final thing I'm going to share in the ease of use improvement section before I hand on over to Celeste is if I head back to this Instagram post that we're working on for this Live Well brand. On the left-hand side, under your stuff, we have added the uploads folder here. So you're going to see this on the left-hand side. Hugely important. It's been a top feature request because naturally whenever you're uploading content, you don't have to keep on re-uploading it. Here we can just look at everything that we've uploaded previously so that we can start bringing that into our design as well. Again, just making sure everything lives at the tip of our fingers to speed up the speed and ease with which that we can create our content. All right then, Celeste, is your internet sticking with you? You ready to share for your section?
My internet is just about holding, which is amazing.
Okay. Cool. No
my street WhatsApp's been on fire with everyone complaining about version this morning. Just a very quick note, we are actually running another couple of webinars, which I've just thought I'd put the link to in the chat. We're doing one on Black Friday success, so I'll be running one looking at sales and HR, and Andy's running one on social. So that's the reason for the link in the chat. So there we go. Right, I'm going to go into the next section. I think I have a slightly different deck, Andy. That's the only issue. So just bear with me.
All good.
Let's have a little look. One sec. So we're going to go into, Andy's done the ease of use improvements, and I'm going to run into the new creative tools. So here we go. Just bear with while I share my screen. So I'm going to be talking through the new creative tools today, and there's been quite a lot of improvements over to Adobe Express that we've been working on. This is just going to keep my deck open while I click through, so I can click through some demo tabs as well. Now, in terms of one of the improvements that we've introduced recently, this has actually been requested for by a number of people for quite a long time now. So I'm really pleased to say that we actually have now the opportunity to have multiple audio tracks within Adobe Express. So what does that mean? If I'm just going to pop into my Mango Magic, which you saw on Andrew's screen earlier, I've actually jazzed this up. So I've added some animations, I've added some audio. If I click on here, you can see I've actually added a little sound effect, and I've also added a voiceover. So I'm actually now able to add 3 different sound effects. And the second thing we're able to do is you can see my audio screen on the left-hand side has a sort of fade in and fade out. So I'm actually able to introduce fades. So I can introduce a fade in and a fade out to my music or my audio or my voiceover or my sound effect, which is incredible. So let's give this a little whirl. New Mango Magic. Okay, now I wouldn't ordinarily put my voice over a track, but you can see the reaction that I've got. You can see I'll just play the little beginning again just so you can show off the sound effect. So you can add a nice little whoosh sound when you drop in your animation. I did also use the Animate All, which is one of our new features as well. So if you are working on animations, I will just click into animations and show you how I did that. I selected the assets that I wanted to be animated, and I just simply hit Animate All because I wanted them all to bungee in. You obviously know that when you do use the animations tab, so you've got the directions, you can choose to start from outside the page. That's actually new as well. And you can go ahead and adjust the duration of the animation, the number of bounces. Let's change that to 3, for example, and just give it another little shot. There we are. A few more bounces to my little bouncy mango magic this morning. So I actually love that. And I think the other thing that people have really been requesting is the fade out of audio. So when you add some music, you just want to be able to fade it out quickly and easily at the end. So I'm super pleased to announce that we have introduced that, which is amazing. So the next one I'm going to look at is just the audio waveform. And you've seen how I introduced audio to my track already, but just to let you know that we now do have this little kind of waveform counter, so you can actually see where the music changes. Obviously, if you're looking to cut several clips together, you're able to then go ahead and much more easily see where there may be a pause or a break in the audio, in the music, so that you can go ahead and just quickly make that cut a little bit more finessed as to where you need it to be. We also talked about fade out audio, and I did show you where that was. So please do go ahead and use the fade in and the fade out. You can just also hit fade in and out if you want something to fade in and then obviously fade out at the same time. That's a really good time saver as well. And then in terms of sound effects are actually a brand new type of audio that we've introduced to Adobe Express, which is fantastic. So it's a set of audio sounds that is specifically being curated and put together for Adobe Express. So all the kind of whizzy little kind of sound effects that you may want to use when you're working to create or put together a quick piece of content for social, for example. This is another one. I love the GIF that Andy's chosen here, and I'm going to go and just show you in my Mango Magic file. I believe I had it open over here. Oops, skipping ahead. Let's see if I can find the right one. Sorry, due to my internet file, nothing's opening. I believe it's in the second page of this one anyway, so there we go. So now we have GIF support. Hurrah! So what this means is that you can bring in a GIF, drop it into your image or your document, whatever you're creating, and that's been really requested by a number of people as well. Now, the question you're probably going to ask me next, because people often do, is what about GIF export? More fine-tuning over the GIF export options, and this is all coming soon. I don't know if you want to elaborate with a time frame on that, Andy, or not yet, but we do know that GIF export options are being worked on at the moment.
Yeah, hard to give an exact time frame, but it's likely we're targeting before the end of the year, so not very far away.
Amazing, because that for me is something our customers have been requesting on a weekly basis. So that's brilliant. Now, how many of you need to put together collages or put together pictures or put together quick mood boards and things like that? I've got a quick example over here that I made by uploading some images earlier. And I'm just going to go and show you how I did that. If we need to search for the collage maker, you'll find it if you do the search bar and then you pop down for the suggestions, the collage maker, and this is where it is. The only thing I need to do is go ahead and select my images. So I've got 4 images saved on my desktop. Let's pop those in. Oh, one image was actually too big, so let's go ahead and just use those 3. And then what I can do is if I want to edit more, I can edit in here. I should go back actually, sorry, I didn't shuffle the layout. Let me do that again. I'm actually going to add another image this time as well. So here we go, upload images. We do have a file size set, which is why one of the images doesn't drop in. Needs to be 8,000 pixels or less. But what I wanted to show you here is the shuffling the layout is really nice. Now, obviously, you want to find a layout that works for your images. And then when you're happy with how your images look, this is a really nice thing if you're working with social media and you just want to have a quick look at what something may look like, for example. Once you've added your images in, obviously you can then go ahead and start to work with the effects. So I like to use the duotones, for example. I think it's a really nice effect. And then you can go ahead and start to jazz up your image. But how quick was that? How quick was that, Andy? Did that take 5 seconds to create this beautiful collage here, or maybe even less, I'm not sure.
Very cool. One thing actually, Celeste, is worthwhile highlighting is that you know how you shuffled it a couple of times and like the images were cut? You can easily change that. So if you just double click into one of those images, so you can just reframe it. So like that, shuffle it and reframe. So just in case if you like the layout, but it cut off one of the tops of an images that you want to retain, you just double click in, just do some kind of little manual refinements and you're good to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out, Andy. That's amazing. So where did we go to? We have the Collage Maker, which is amazing. I wanted to show you the generative resize because I'm not sure if everyone's discovered this yet. And I did have a file ready, but obviously with my internet fail, it's not quite to plan. So let me go ahead and see if I can find it. One sec. Just bear with me, Andy. We'll get there. We'll get there.
It's all good.
I'm searching through my projects for the Power Hour folder. So my projects is where I keep all my shared files. I have a project that I'm working on with Andy. I'm actually going to go out and do that again. I'm going to show you my files, my projects. Within my projects, I just need to find my Power Hour. Here we go. Now, this is a shared folder of content that Andy and I have put together. So this is where we are keeping our collaboration. So when we're working with collaboration, do feel free to go ahead and use projects to keep all your files and brands together. So when I hit the resize button, the next thing you can see is that I'm going to go and find something that's, for example, a horizontal format. So let's scroll into Facebook. Let's say I'm going to do my Facebook group cover here, which is obviously a different one. I'm going to hit the resize button. Oh, let's just move this out of the way. Sorry, let's do that again. Hit the resize button and then go ahead and select my Facebook group cover and then go and hit the resize. You'll see here Adobe Express is working its magic, giving us its beautiful little colorful graphics. And what it's going to do, it's actually going to extend this image out to the full width of my image. And you can see here that actually I'm able to quickly scroll through the different options. I don't actually need another person. I like just a couple. There we go. Or maybe the third one there. We can try that one. We can scroll through and find the one that we want, but the point being is that it's super quick and easy if you do need to change for one social format to a different. So if you're going from landscape to portrait or vice versa, for example, it's super easy now within Adobe Express to generate those extra pixels that you need when you're working to extend an image out. Did you want to say something about how you recolored this image, Andy? I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you keep that result, Celeste, so let's just go with that. So yeah, if you just press the little keep button, because I think I agree with that one. I think that one looks good. That was probably recovered. Cool. So yeah, if you just close the project that you've got open, so and then click into brands on the left hand side.
Ah, here we go. You had which brand did you have open?
Yeah, let's use the Live Well brand. What's that? I know sometimes takes a minute to load when you've got quite a few brands. So this is now in the apply brand function. So as everyone on this call likely knows, apply brand gives you the opportunity to shuffle through your brand fonts, colors, and add your logos, etc. But to that apply brand shuffle, if you just toggle that little gear icon for me, please, Celeste. Then you've got an opportunity to recolor photos. So
amazing.
I don't know why that one's grayed out for you for now. Yeah.
This is actually grayed out for me.
Oh, it's grayed out actually. So when it's not grayed out, I'll need to look into that. So that's the second bug we've encountered today. Never mind. That's another one for me. Anyway, so what that allows you to do is now use Adobe Express's capabilities to recolor a photo relative to your brands that you have. So you notice that in this brand we've got our color palettes, so this will recolor the photo and the items and the elements in this photo that's suitable to be recolored, like the bathing costumes of the couple that are on this beach. So they can be automatically recolored according to your brand colors, which is incredibly powerful. Yeah, really interested for you to share your thoughts on that once you had a chance to use it. But another way of just making everything feel aligned with your brand, so especially when you're using stock photography like this, can be very, very useful.
Yeah, and the Apply brand is actually something that I've had a lot of feedback, Andy, that people say they actually really love. So, for example, they may be bringing in a PDF or a template and they just want to quickly apply their colors and their fonts. Super quick and easy to apply your colors and your fonts simply by hitting the one Apply brand and then changing the text and changing the colorways straight away. So, no need to do that manually anymore, which is amazing. So after the generate resize, we're now on to document creation. So Andy, I'm going to head over to you to take over on the document creation piece.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. Let's do it. So let's go ahead and share my screen again. And yeah, we're in the third and final section of all of the updates we want to share with you. But before I go into document creation, there was one other thing that I just wanted to share with you, actually, which relates to bulk create. So we'd had many requests related to how can we create at scale, especially when we've got something that we regularly want to swap out. So maybe it's like a Facebook ad where you want to just vary the copy or vary the image relative to a template. Here I'm using a really simple example where this is just a social media quote post. And what I've created here already is like a CSV file, an Excel file that has all of the copy and the images that I want to change. So it's a great way of where we can take elements that we want to change in a template and just easily change them out. So this is how it works. So we're going to press bulk create and we're just going to be working on this standard template here. So now we are going to add in a CSV file here. So excuse me while I just navigate and find this one in my Macs folder. Cool, give me one sec. Nice. Cool, so at this point we now need to set up the elements. So I'm going to click on the background image because I want to swap out the background image each time. So I'm going to just click on where I want to change and press connect element. So it's recognized that's the image, so that's cool. So that means the image is going to be swapped for each variation. Then I'm going to click on the bit of text that I want to change, which is this. And you'll notice that every time you click on an element in a design, it's going to come up with a connect element here. So I'm going to do that. And here, what it's doing is reading the Excel file that I've just uploaded. So I'm just going to change this out to quote because we want to swap out this quote. And then finally, we want to take this author and connect the element. And again, we want to take the author from this. So in this very basic example, we just want to have multiple different versions of these quotes so that we can use this across multiple different variations of a social media post or maybe create an Instagram carousel, something like that. But like I said, you could apply this logic to anything. Maybe you're creating a campaign across a range of different products that you're looking at selling. Maybe you want to A/B test across YouTube or Facebook, for example. Lots of different use cases in anything that you need to create lots of variations of a particular design. Cool, so they're the use cases. So we're just going to press next. So as you can see, that has now taken the quotes that I've uploaded in the CSV file. So that's all good. But of course, the image is exactly the same. So we're just going to use this option of add multiple assets. So here in this asset section, I could upload or drag and drop. And here, if I press the plus button, I can look at everything that's in our brand. So I'm using this brand, which is our Clover Cat Cafe. And here we've got a bunch of assets here already. So simply I just drag and drop, just swap them around. Lots of different variations of this background image. There we go, drag and drop. As you can see, the quote and author all looks good. Just press done. And there we go. We've got multiple different variations of this. I press create pages and there we go. We've now got a bulk creation version of this content, of which, like I said, I could multi-select the pages and share them all as an Instagram carousel and have a multi-page swipe through type of post here, or we could be using for all those manner of use cases that I've just shared. So that's your bulk create. There has been some bulk create add-ons that we've had in the past, but this is now our first approach of like native bulk creation. So really keen to get your hands on it and hear your use cases for this and any ways that we can improve it. Right, something else that I think is particularly relevant and useful when we're talking about bulk creation, when we're starting to create multiple different variations of a design. So here we've got 6 different pages of it, is find and replace. So whenever we want to change something across our whole design. So if we want to say, I want to change Clover Cat Cafe, and we want to swap it out and replace it, let's just say our social handle change, for example, we can just use the find and replace all. Basically, find and replace, as you're familiar with across all other products that you likely use, works no different to that, but really useful for when you're doing kind of bulk edits across multiple different pages. Hopefully that makes a degree of sense, but that's your kind of bulk creation and find and replace flows. Celeste, is there anything I missed or anything else you want to add?
I was just going to say, another question I get asked regularly is a spell check. When is spell check going to be brought into the app? It kind of goes hand in hand for me with find and replace, which is super handy for me as well. I thought it was this quarter, but let's have a little see if there's an update on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Spell check is en route. In the meantime, however, what I was reminded by our teams who look after all of our partnerships is that there's some really useful add-ons for spell check already. So here we can just look for spell check here, and there is a spell checker add-on that you're able to use, at least for the meantime, and kind of getting around the challenge while we don't have a spell check right now. Also,
that's fantastic. Thank you, Andy. I was going to, yes, rewrite is another one that we could go through. Yeah, fantastic.
Definitely. Do you want to touch on that one, Celeste? As I've been talking
I mean, rewrite is really all about learning to use. You can go through the demo if you like, because there's no point doing double screen sharing.
That's cool.
My dodgy Wi-Fi this morning. But what's really, really nice is that if you have something and you want to either rephrase it totally and make it sound more inspirational, professional, personal, comical, casual, academic, all the different styles, you can go ahead and do that. You can also shorten it and lengthen it, which is really, really good. Now, I love these AI writing assistants. I actually use them a lot. I'm not a kind of natural copy editor by background. So if you're kind of better with the visual side of things and you just need a little bit of help with your copy and your content, this is an amazing place to start. So I love these. I think they're super, super useful. At the moment, we can adjust it to all these different tones of voice, but what we'll have coming soon and what the amazing product team are working on is actually being able to kind of train the model on your brand's tone of voice as well. So again, I don't know if we have a time frame for that, Andy. I'm not going to put you on the spot for any of this, but that will be coming soon. So the idea that as well as kind of adjusting the content in a visual way with your colors and your fonts and so forth, you'll be able to adjust the content to your own brand's tone of voice as well, which I think is really, really nice, super helpful for people who have to create a lot of social content, for example, and make sure everything's on brand. Yeah,
good call out. Very good call out. I don't know the timelines on that. Yeah,
I'm going to say, Andy, what about the resize? Just to make sure everyone understands the resize and the translate features. They're so powerful, aren't they?
Yes, definitely.
Quickly show those.
Yes, let's touch on the translate function. So this is a good example because there's been lots of improvements to translate. So of course, as you know, we can choose a language. Let's choose French. There are more languages coming. I think there's 46 in total, but more are coming. It's the most common question. We also improved Translate recently by allowing Translate to work across multiple pages. So here we're on a 6-page document. So that's very, very useful, especially when you're working on longer types of content that we're going to talk about more in a second, like presentations, etc. And now we can also choose a tone of voice as well. That links to what you were saying a second ago, actually, Celeste, about like brand tone. So this is going to get better in time. But right now, sometimes translation doesn't quite capture the feel of the source language. So now you can make sure you have a bit more control around the tone of voice of the outputs. So that's your new translate function, which will then create multiple different versions of a document. So I won't choose a tone of voice, but I can just go ahead, hit translate, and it's going to go create a whole bunch more pages for me. So I'm actually going to go back to this that we were working on just a second ago, Celeste, just to see if that actually works for me. Okay, great. So that is now applied here. So recolor graphics is applied in this instance. So here we've got the similar kind of project that you're working on, Celeste. And when we apply brown to this, we're going to notice that the swimming costumes and the straws are going to change for each iteration based on our color palette. So pretty cool. Right. Now, I promised I'd get onto the kind of like document piece of this, and we'll get there eventually. We're here now. So one thing I want to share with you around resize is now the ability to convert to a presentation. Now, one thing that is coming very soon, because I bumped into this and you realize how annoying this is right now, because here I want to change this to a presentation. And as you can see here, I've had to scroll down quite a way to find that. So we're adding some improvements here, like the ability to search different resize layouts. That's coming real soon. Just wanted to share that. But when we resize to a presentation, the most important thing I wanted to share here is that we can now, that gives you the opportunity not just to convert it into a presentation layout in terms of dimensions, but convert it into the full presentation experience that you'll be familiar with. So now we've converted this into a presentation so we can start adding multiple pages to this, etc. So now it's a very easy way that we can take something that started as a very different form factor and start building it into a presentation. So also, as we're talking about presentations, under page actions, another important update is that we can now skip slides in our presentation. Very simple, very expected feature, but it's good to know it's there. There's been a huge amount of progress around presentation controls. Now you've got presenter notes, slide notes, present mode, well, not all of the things you're going to need, but a lot more capabilities around presentations to make them fundamentally more useful. All right, also we've made it easier for you to add slides from other presentations, which has typically been a bit of frustrating experience historically. So now if you go to your stuff, and here we've got a presentation file, let's say we want to add something from our Power Hour presentation that we're going through today, we now have an opportunity to add these as images. We can choose the slides we want to bring in or add as pages. And again, a really expected thing that you'd want to see in presentations, but again, improved ease of use and capabilities around presentations. Right, sticking with presentations, let's go on to a presentation template that we've just been speaking about. Now, this is our text flow function. We released this maybe a couple of months ago, but I want to make sure everyone's familiar with this one because it does allow a lot more flexibility and control when it relates to creating, adding a lot of text in documents, whether it's in a presentation or a PDF, a lot more control. So here, you'll notice that I've already toggled on text flow here. So whenever you select a text box in Express, you're going to see text flow appear on the left-hand side. And now, as part of these kind of contextual recommendations that we started this session with, you can just go ahead and press this plus button. And now we're going to just add another text flow box here. And we'll press plus again, and we're going to have another one here. So there we go, and just move these about, make sure the layout is consistent. And now if we go into this first text box, we'll carry on typing, you're going to notice it's just going to flow onto all of these different text boxes. And, you know, we might want to go ahead and think, you know, the size isn't quite right. We're going to increase the size so you can see how that now flows over. This makes it so much easier to work with text, especially when we've got text and images working around each other. If you're making a flyer or something like that, it's a lot less painful when we're using a text flow feature like this, rather than trying to set up text boxes and having to reshuffle and reorientate yourself each time. So hope you find that useful. Another thing related to long-form documents is that we've improved the capability for how you want to look at content and consume content. Again, we're trying to make Express as flexible as possible. So this is a very typical slide view, so horizontal navigation, so we can just toggle between the different slides as you'd expect. So we're just doing that in a horizontal fashion. But under the zoom menu here, you've also got vertical scroll. So if you'd rather just kind of scroll down and look through the pages that way, you could do so. As you can see, we're just scrolling down and up that way. I'm probably more of a traditionalist. I like the horizontal, but ultimately it's up to you. You've now got a bit more flexibility on those view modes. Okay, two more things to share with you, and we've done quite well for time actually. Appreciate there's a lot of new stuff coming your way. So as I said at the beginning, this is recorded. Any questions that are follow up, you know, feel free to shoot them our way. So we have now improved a remix for presentations as well. So if we want to make a template or create a view-only link for this presentation, we might want to allow some remixability for people to shuffle our presentation and do different versions of it. very similar to remixing other templates. Again, you can have all of the controls around this that you're used to. So we can lock elements down, we can specify exactly what we want people to be able to change in this presentation template, and then we can choose to share that file with others and allow people only the specified permissions to allow them, the right amount of flexibility for them to edit that. I think this is super useful. I think going back to my days of running my startup business, the amount of different slide decks that the sales team would create and have slide decks slung everywhere and our brand in all manner of different forms. It would have been an absolute joy to have Express to ensure that we can kind of lock down our approach to brand and how that was being portrayed to our customers. So yeah, I definitely see a huge amount of value here. Right, final thing to share. I'm sure I've missed some stuff, but I think this is the final one. So if we wanted to download this, and let's say we wanted to just download this as a PDF. I appreciate I'm downloading a PowerPoint as a PDF here, but this will work across any PDF download. You can now add accessibility tags. Obviously, I don't need to tell you how important that is for screen readers, etc. So this is a good step in the right direction. We've got a lot more to do around accessibility in Express and improving that. That will come, but this is a first step in the right direction. All right, Celeste, what have I missed?
No, I think it's fantastic. I was just loving when you were going through the presentations, thinking about customer conversations I've had. I'll be doing a session tomorrow about more in depth about presentations, actually, for kind of sales and HR. And one of the customers will be sort of referencing is actually a customer who's been able to create these branded templates within Express and then share them out to other teams who are now able to create this sort of really, really super duper on brand content. And it's really massively speeded up their workflow, being able to share these kind of brand guardrailed presentation decks, really, that they need to kind of try and improve their speed to market and improve the velocity on how many they're creating every week. So fantastic use case. Would love to hear in the chat if anyone is using it for presentations. Certainly here at Adobe, I think we've adopted the collaboration feature. We love working together in a team, and collaboration in Express is far less painful, I would say, than trying to collaborate in a PowerPoint document on a OneDrive.
Definitely,
right,
definitely
Andy?
that. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, so
I did
go
miss
ahead,
something
try.
actually, Celeste. I knew I would. And I did miss something before we hand over, talk a little bit around web page. I'll touch on this only very briefly. This relates to the social media capabilities in Express. So Celeste, you touched on projects earlier. So as Celeste, you mentioned, projects, fantastic place to store all your assets and files and folders together that you want to share with a team. Now, one of the most requested features related to social media has been, can we share a calendar with others? So others can look at the content that we're creating. We create a shared calendar together. And I think I've gone into this social selling team project here. And I think this is a really interesting use case personally. So this is the teams at Adobe that are sharing our feature updates so that we can keep everyone abreast of what's the latest in Adobe Express. So these are the files that everyone in this team has access to, this project has access to, so they can go ahead and share that. But it's made a lot easier because now everyone can see what people are sharing on their shared calendar. So you can see our colleague Kerry is sharing this content out, so we can see which members of the team are sharing that content to LinkedIn to help kind of grow our brand and grow awareness around the Adobe Express features. And it means everyone who has access to this project has the ability to look at this calendar, and we would define the permissions at a project level, whether it's edit or comment only, etc. But now this gives a really important ability for everyone to have visibility of what's happening across the social channels. And also, for those of you that are interested in social content, we've improved our suggestions and recommendations. So you can see some post suggestions as well to help keep you inspired around what social media content you could create, along with like National Day content as well. So we're just doing as much as we can to help everyone like unlock the opportunity of social media. Right then, Celeste, shall I hand back over to you for web page stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. Give me a moment. Amazing. Here we are with web pages. So how many people have used web pages? Is everyone familiar with what web pages are? Because actually some people aren't familiar with what web pages are. So I'm just going to go and show you where to find them if you're not familiar with web pages, if my internet will not slow down too much for me. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my little home button to get me home. I'm just going to go ahead and search here, web page, and see if that brings it up. The other way I can actually do it is actually just going into the little plus button here. That brings up one I've done already. And if I search here, web page, it will actually then bring me up the web page picker, the template picker. And what's really, really nice is that people use web pages for a whole variety of things. They're actually really used a lot within the education market, actually. So people use them for things like learning journals and so forth. We use them very much internally for sort of newsletters. So I think newsletters is a great sort of way of using web pages. A lot of customers I've talked to do use them for that as well. But what's really nice now is that you've got these kind of beautifully designed kind of web pages that you can go ahead and just simply select one to start from as well. You also have this kind of way of looking through. So for example, business, portfolio, personal, event. So you can really kind of just kickstart your design a little bit easier. Once you've selected a web page, and again, hopefully it won't take too long to load, you've now got the ability to customize it a little bit more than you had before. Okay, so it does actually tell me here, it's got a little pop-up. It tells me I can go ahead and customize this template using the sort of customize button. Now, at the moment, we can choose select themes. So for example, let's just pop into this particular theme. And then what's coming soon is the ability to move into your brand themes as well, which isn't available today, but we're working on bringing your brand themes to the web page format. The other thing that's new with the web page format is I now have the option. So for example, if I'm clicking on an image, let's go ahead and change that. Well, let's just see if I wanted to upload this image here. I can actually replace this image and I can upload from my device. So I can upload all my own content as well whenever I'm working with a web page. So for example, I can go ahead and select an image. Where did that image go? The file was too big, apologies about that. I can go ahead and upload an image, so I can go ahead and upload from my device. I can search through my photos and so forth. So it's much more easier for me to bring my own content right into the web page format. So web page templates are new, so do go play around with them. We talked about uploading content from your stuff. Andy showed you where your stuff was earlier when he opened up the ability to see all the content that you've uploaded. That now appears in your files. So have a look in your files section and you'll be able to use your stuff that you have, if you've had anything previously uploaded to the web page format as well. The other thing you can do now is share a web page as a template. So let's go ahead and have a look at that. If I've finished my web page, I'm happy with it. I can hit the share button. I can invite collaborators. I can publish to web. I don't have the template option here today for some reason. It usually has the template option for me. Something's maybe changed a little bit on the back end for me today. One new thing that has been requested by a number of teams is actually the ability to password protect web pages as well. So if you wanted to create something that you didn't want to go outside your business, for example, you could then give people a password so that people would have to unlock the web page using the password protection mechanism as well. And it's just the same as creating any other sort of shareable link with Adobe Express. Simply hit the create link button to create a shareable link. Obviously, you can toggle on and off the credits. You can add your credits. If you want some image credits there, you can toggle on and off the author. You can allow others to remix it if you wanted to share out a shareable, newsletter format, for example, that you want other people to go ahead and update.
So
and
on that point, just Celeste, sorry to jump in. That is the template creation bit. So allowing others to remix. That's what you mean by template creation. Yeah.
Ah, fantastic. I thought you could actually save it as a template. I think that might be coming soon in terms of saving it as a lockable. Yeah.
Yes. So the flow is a little bit different, but yeah. That ultimately does allow the same core functionality of like, hey, I've created a web page, share it via link, and allow others to make modifications to it if you so choose. But what isn't there, and you're absolutely right, is the ability to have all of the locking and controls and the controlled reuse that we're familiar with in the templates and the other parts of Express.
Perfect. So here we are. So that's what's referred to as a template at the moment. Not a lockable template, but a template that you can share with others. Thank you, Andy, for clarifying. That's amazing.
We made it.
Brings us to Q&A, actually.
I didn't think we would cover all of that in an hour. So